YouTube, we are back for ALR Season 2. It's round 1 of the season. We're racing at Austria. I'm sure the drivers are ready to ready up under their own discretion. When they ready up, we'll be ready to get into round 1 of the season at Australia. We're starting it ever so slightly early because that's what people want. But hey-ho, we're here, we're ready. Everyone wants to go. So we're just waiting on the drivers to ready up, and then we will be able to get set sailing into the race. Race weekend, not the race. We've got the qualifying to do first. I'm starting to forget my words because it's been a while since I've properly commentated. So yeah, Gaggles, you may need to invite Thermiter. Oh, he's joined anyway. Didn't need to invite him. Anyway, we're getting ready to start the first round of Season 2. Started the last season at Australia. We're back in Australia. That was a very big waste of 14 minutes. Anyway, we're finally on with Australia. It's finally session time. It's a UI I can have in the screen that doesn't make me feel offended about anything at all. I was hesitant to throw the previous UI because it didn't look as good as what it does here. In my opinion, I love the UI. So there was a few duos here before. There still is. We've got the Williams duo and the McLaren duo, also known as the Shoulders, and Gaggles Autosport duo, as well as the Haas duo. Not sure what that name is under. As we see Joe F1 guy, the first man out on the track. Along with Obek, so 2 new drivers. So we see the 2 drivers here trying to not crash into each other. That would be superb. So we see Obek, probably the man to set the first qualifying of the season. Polius is back after a half a season hiatus, choosing to take a quick retirement.
Hello.
Welcome. Our co-commentators finally.
Hello. Sorry about that. I had some complications.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We all do.
I got caught in the rain.
I think Joe has just been let through to set the first qualifying lap of the season. The previous time we saw someone try to set the first qualifying lap, they ended up spinning. Of course, it's a slightly revised version of Australia. Go on.
Speaking of spinning, I think someone just has in Sector 3.
No, it's Obek. He's slowed down greatly to give himself a gap to the car ahead, which is actually quite a smart thing to do.
I see.
The eagle-eyed among you might have noticed that I was streaming another league in Roblox for Australia, which is a very big coincidence. Completely forgot that happened, that they were on the same day, so bit of luck there. But here's the qualifying for ALR. Here's where the previous driver spun on the first qualifying lap last season. So Joe has made it through there already. Will he make it through the Albon corner? He's gone purple so far, the first man to do a push. Of course he will. We'll see if that lap gets beaten anytime soon. This season we've got quite a few new and faster drivers on the field here today. So almost into the wall, he's taking it that seriously with this lap here, Joe.
I've got my own team out there now.
Yeah, we both do. It feels lovely.
Eclipse Racing versus Shoulders.
Oh, and he kicks the rear out through the 90-degree right-hander, but he continues going. I think that may have cost him his hot lap, but he's going to come round the final corner here. What lap time will this be?
Good job, it's a good job that Thermiter was on his outlap there, because he just skipped over a bit of the corner.
Joe goes fastest, but I have a feeling that's going to be greatly beaten by Obek here. Comes across the line in the Haas to go. Ever so slightly slower. What can Polius do? Who's doing his outlap on the Inters. He doesn't want to burn through a set too quickly. course, the man who started dominating the first half of the season comes out and sets a not too bad lap time. We got Lando.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like the UI at the bottom for this game compared to the last one. I think
streaming-wise, I find it perfect.
Oh yeah, for the stream it's fine, but for like all of the details and telemetry at the bottom of the screen, like speed, your battery, I think it just looks worse.
Anyway, the lap times are starting to come in. Gaggles goes third fastest. His teammate, where's he gonna come? He goes fourth. So it's a Gaggles Autosport 3-4 right now. RJ is on an outlap. As we know, James Quinn has a qualifying ban. The only reasons he can come out is to do minor setup changes, not to set a qualifying lap. Has been cleared. James Quinn, a controversial man, banned from the last race for reasons. Back for the season under some specific sets of rules.
Yes, under the banner of Eclipse Racing.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, he's a fast driver, but he is very controversial. So don't expect him to be setting a lap time here today. A few other people. Thermiter goes second fastest for his team. He's on a really low fuel run. The next man is going to be...
He's only like 2.27 seconds ahead of Obek, though. That's easily a gap that could be closed.
Oh, definitely. I feel like the pole time will be a hell of a lot smaller than it is now. So the current Haas duo is Obek and Ryan. So these two really need to make an impression on the field, as we've got a yellow out for Thermiter going slowly. I think he may be running out of fuel. We see a lap from Ryan here, though. Continuing on through the 90-degree right-hander, doesn't kick the rear out. We see a squirrely Aston Martin behind of James. Won't be setting a qualifying time. What can he do? Through the final section we go. Yellow. We have a
slow vehicle going through.
I think that
Why was kill spray on Indus?
He likes doing that as Ryan goes second fastest. Beating Thermiter. That gap is slowly being whittled down.
I am confused and scared.
Yeah,
by
Joe is on a second push lap already. He almost corner cut that turn one, almost lost the rear completely. Powering down the straight he goes into turn 3, almost into the wall. Just runs wide on the exit. That's an aborted lap right there. That was very nice to see until it was over. We see Obek in the background here starting an outlap. So.
By the way, how dark am I allowed to get with jokes?
Not very, because this is meant to be a family-friendly stream. So.
Okay, I can't. Okay, I'm not gonna make that joke.
I know what you were gonna say. We all know what you were gonna say. Yeah.
Do you? What was I gonna say?
Something along the lines.
You can type it in the chat.
So.
No. It wasn't gonna be anything to do with September 11th.
I thought you would, given the fact that's in that's Tuesday or Wednesday.
No. It's more to do with the word you used a moment ago about the lap.
Okay.
I was going to say that lap please still get. I'll type.
Do you not know what whittled means?
No, one moment.
Let's not get into that. We're just confusing people. Obek here is going to start his real push lap. He said that first one was mid, so let's see what he can take out of this lap. He powers down the main straight towards turn 1 and 2 as Joe crashes out of the session. I believe that is. Yes, it is. Joe has crashed out the session. Lightning fast reaction times from Obek there to get through without hitting him.
Unfortunate for you to have one of your drivers go out like.
Oh, it's fine. He set his improvement already.
Yeah, but like
half, I feel. But anyway, in towards turn, what is it, 6 and 7 we go. Very nice. Doesn't screw up at all. There's a spun Alpine in turn 1. I'm sure we'll pan to that at some point soon. Continuing we go down the new S's section a lot faster than before. We saw Red Stein do one of the best overtakes this league has seen in a while through this corner here. And of course, we saw a very big pile-up involving 3 of the 6 drivers in the previous race. It's good to see we've near doubled our numbers in this first race, which is something we like to see. But Obek in with a chance of getting pole. Thermite on the back straight, letting an Aston Martin through for the hot lap. That would be Killspree, the man who needs to really fight for the pole, and he's pitted. Obek takes the pit lane. Let's go to Polius here.
Maybe Obek might just be settling for the position.
He might be. Obek done with.
So there is about 10 minutes left to qualify.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to realise there's a lot of time.
Apparently his crash nearly killed.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to
Obek on it got very close. It got very close.
I apparently missed. I missed it because I was watching other people.
Look on the stream, it was a very cautious moment there. But
something's off with
to Joe to getting the first crash of the season. It wasn't his show.
Say that.
But Thermite are now on the push.
Weird under brakes. Hey, have you considered that you're on inters?
Yeah, that could be it. No, he went out. He tried to do a new lap on softs, but it didn't work. Anyway, down the back straight we go. It's not a straight at all, but we call it the back straight because why not? It has a DRS zone. Might as well be a straight. As we go through towards the very fast chicane, the left-right, one of the fastest sections in F1, and everyone loves it. Thermite goes purple in the middle sector, or wobble in the middle. He's through the gravel. Continuing on.
Oh, that could have cost him a good lap time.
That could have cost him his qualifying. So I'm sure he is very cautious for the rest of this lap. He's still up on pretty much every single lap time set before him, so we could see a possible pole, provisional pole here. To the line we go. Is it an improvement? It's an improvement to second. All drivers bar Killspree out on the track, and there is a stop Mercedes in the wall in the final sector. I don't believe he has any damage, but he sure as heck has had a moment. He appears to be fine, but his car is covered in mud, so I would assume that he went wide and spun there. But, yeah. Obek coming on his teammate Ryan here. They're both out on outlaps, so I think it would be leader goes first for this duo. It would be pretty stupid to try and invert cars now. Could see a huge incident. There's yellows out for an Alpine. Just had a moment there. So we see the two Hasses, Linus Stern, trying to make their way through. There are some gravel marks there, so I would assume the Mercedes of Lando had a moment through there. We see Obek in the background having a moment. But the lap now is for Ryan. The stream is his. He's going to take to the floor with his teammate behind him. Could we see some Haas antics on this lap? There's a yellow out for a slow Alpine and a yellow out in the final corner for Thermite, who's missed the pit lane entry. That is slightly embarrassing. Anyway, back to the Hasses. They are continuing down the straight towards turn 3, the sharp right-hander. RJ improves his lap to P8. Polius could be one to watch on his next push lap here. The two Hasses really, really making it nice. We're just going to go nothing on screen for the rest of this lap. They are really hammering out everything here today. They're both on the edge of what is feasibly possible in this game. If we see any incident at all from either of them, it could spell disaster for both of them as they're so close together. This could be strategical from Haas to give Obek the slipstream. If it is, then my goodness, their strategy is worked off. Obek goes slightly wide, and there's a spin! There's a spin from Gaggles on that lap.
Oh,
slightly
that's
butchered,
rare.
Slightly butchered the two Haas's laps. Obek was able to continue. His teammate was really shaken up by it. I think Obek is about to top the timing charts because he is going much, much faster than we've seen anyone go so far in the session. Crosses the line. No, he hasn't. He has improved, but I think Gaggles did cost him his lap. Anyway, on to Polius, who's currently purple in the middle sector. The final sector everyone has been struggling with. Are we going to see any improvements from him, or are we going to see him end up drowning like the rest of the field. Very fast through the 90-degree right-hander towards the end of the lap there. Continuing on, Gaggles after a mild spin back in the pit lane, I believe. But through the final corner we go. He appears to be up on his lap times. He will, no matter what, improve up the grid. Polius to the line. Is it? It's provisional pole for Polius. Just under 4 minutes of the session to go, and it is really ramping up here in Australia. We see Ryan Armstrong coming out onto the track now to try and set his qualifying lap. And Obex had a moment. Obex had a moment through the gravel trying to set a secondary push lap to try and get up for pole. That did not last at all. Could have been strategical to let those around him through on their laps. We're going to see the Mercedes of Ryan here, though, go for a lap. Don't forget James in this lap, please. Thank you. We do see Lando here, Mr. 2009, running slightly wide through turn 1. Not sure if the lap will continue. Yes, it does. Lap time's not been deleted. A lot more drivers starting to come out of the pit lane now for their final laps. You'd be stupid to lose out on this opportunity. So there's a lot of traffic on this lap that Ryan here needs to get through with. He needs to try and cut them through without getting impeded. The slower McLaren up ahead. He will need to be mindful of it. It could get close. He sees him. Wide he goes. Into the DRS zone we go. Is it going to be a major lap time improvement or not? Are we going to see him able to improve at all? He's up in the middle sector. Not a blistering lap, but he's up. Through into the hardest part of the track. This 90-degree right-hander with a curved entry. You see people making mistakes before. You're going to have to get out the way of the McLaren immediately behind him afterwards. We see him here through the final corner we go. For the final time before he does a secondary push. I think he's done. He's out of ERS. To the line we go. Does he improve? Yes, he does, but only ahead of RJ. Gaggles is on his hot lap. So is Lewis. Obex come out, and there's a car wide. It is the Mercedes going very deep into turn 1. As Gaggles is round, almost. He's wide in the middle section of the lap. So just before that was turn 4 he went wide. So a very unusual place to see someone off. And I think the car ahead of him, Thermite, has also had a moment. There's yellow flags out. Lewis has also had a moment. It's either that or the Mercedes behind him. Yeah, people are backing out now. Ryan, the man on a hot lap here. A clean track ahead of him. The Alpine as well. They're both on hot laps. As Thermite has had a moment, he's back going again, but we'll stay on this with the Haas. Through we go towards the sweeper. Or through the sweeper towards the chicane. A very fast part of the lap. Many incidents have happened so far. The Mercedes wide and a McLaren just loses the rear on the Haas here, but he continues on. We've got just over 30 seconds to go of the lap. They're all starting to pile up, and he's wide in the 90-degree right-hander. His last chance for a lap is now. I don't see him improving at all. Polius is on an outlap, and he's pitted. He's done for qualifying. Polius, I think, has played the cards wrong here. I don't think he's going to be able to get round in 11 seconds. So count him out for qualifying. Obeck is now on a push lap. So is pretty much everyone else on the track. First man to take the flag will be the Alpine in P8 of Ryan Armstrong. So we'll see what comes of that when we get there. We've got a Williams up ahead of RJ and an Aston Martin of Polius, who is done for the session. He will take the flag on track to take his fastest lap. He's not going to be able to improve. We see the Haas Obeck here on the rugged edge. Is he able to improve ahead of Kilsbury's time, ahead of Polius's time in the Aston Martin here? He's slowly gaining on the McLaren ahead. RJ improves to P10 and Obeck spins the rear in the final chicane area. That could have just been his qualifying over. He's still up. There is still a chance he can improve onto the front row. Can he do it? No, he can't. Obek down for the count. What can Thermite do? He doesn't improve. Is Lewis here able to improve? He's very ragged on this lap. I don't think it's going to be an improvement from anyone. Polius takes pole at Australia, becoming the first driver ever to get 2 pole positions at the same track. Wow. We see the times there. Made a minor mistake there. I was calling one of the drivers Ryan. They're not. They're Jake, the second Haas driver. Made a minor mistake. Even still, we hear it. Joe has to leave. Apparently one of the Williams drivers has to leave. If he does, then that would be something terrible. Now we just wait for the drivers to get themselves in their cars. Get themselves ready for this. For some debut race. The first race of the season. We're back. It's been quite a while since I've been able to say it's the first race of the season. When was the previous first race? Geez, 4 months ago since the last round. Since the last first round, I should say. It's been a while. The lights are on for the first race of the season. It is go, go, go. We're green in Australia, and it's a blistering start for some at the front. It's a very good start for Joe at the front end. Side by side, through we go. They're all roughly through cleanly. Don't know what I mean by that. RJ's had a moment in the midfield. We're not through totally clean. We're going to stay with Thermite here. His best qualifying in a long while in the league. I think I saw a bit of debris fly off there from one of the cars. He's under threat from the 2 Haas cars behind him. Are we going to see a moment? There is a moment. Obek trying to push his accomplice in other leagues around the track here in Australia. Down we go towards the sweeping section. No DRS. Next lap, we get the DRS. Are we going to see the move? The McLaren's fighting for the back. Obek to the inside. And Joe to the inside. There's 2 moves in one straightaway. Are we going to see anything else as the field go through this section here? James Quinn is already up 3 places from where he qualified. And there's Mercedes wide. Almost into the barriers. There's still a fight. They're fighting at the front. They're fighting everywhere. I don't know where to look in this race. Obek overtaking Thermite again. They're side by side. They touch wheels. Obek, I think, may just get robbed of this position on the opening lap. Yes, he will. Thermite pushes him to the wall. And there is a yellow flag for a tangle of RJ and Lando. James Quinn fighting with Gaggles there. I'm not sure what happened with him. And there's a spin and crash. The 2 Haases and a McLaren get together. Not sure who has damaged. One of the Haases is missing a wing. And it's now a genuine fight. The Aston Martin of Quinn involved. His teammate currently leading the way. No safety cars yet. There is more argy-bargy between the 2. These 2 side by side, they touch again. An end plate falls off the Aston Martin. There is so much drama in this race, and the Haas is off. So the Haas is forced to the edge of this fight. And we continue down the S's. DRS is enabled this lap. So we're going to see some even closer fighting here in Australia. And I think at the front, they're almost fighting for 3 abreast here. We could see a move coming from either of these guys. Thermite are looking for a move. Doesn't come of it. They're still fighting in the mid-pack. As James Quinn goes wide and the Alpine of Dottie, a.k.a. Ryan Armstrong, spins in the background. I'm sure he'll be able to continue. he's fallen right to the back of the field. The two McLarens are fighting, and Thermite has spun on pit lane entry. Almost takes out the Haas of Jack. So much drama, and we're not even done with the opening 3 laps. We continue on. The field well spread now. The two closest drivers is Polius, Obek and Joe. The Gaggles cars fighting as Gaggles spins, hits the wall. We're going to see Jake get through, and he spins again. Gaggles into the wall at turn 4. Doesn't lose anything on his car, but this is not the race he would have hoped for at the moment. We still have 25 odd laps to go. Killspree, aka Mr. Polius, already over a second. DRS for Joe though, so he must have stayed close enough to get the DRS. He doesn't have it for the second straight though. This could be crucial for keeping him ahead. James Quinn, despite his antics on the second lap, is up to P4, so he would be earning some very good points. Let's go back further down the order. We see RJ versus Gaggles, Gaggles versus RJ. The very clean move there on the DRS. I think RJ is just waiting for a second dosage of it to get him past Gaggles for this next section. Don't forget there's one detection zone for the 2 straights. As James Quinn goes even faster, could we see the Aston Martin duo sharing a championship fight here? Down the main straight we go. These 4 cars are all very close to each other as Obek is fighting with Joe. The Williams versus the Haas, and Joe makes a mistake. He spins almost all the way around. Quinn is up in the podium places. Gaggles now ahead of the Mercedes, and they touch. Nothing to cry home about, but they've touched. And there's a spin from Joe. Joe is round in the middle of the track. Thermite almost rips his front wing off. He needs to be very careful trying to continue. There's a fight behind, and he hits the Mercedes. Oh!
Joe immediately straight to the back.
That is absolutely unfortunate for them. Quinn is ahead of Obek with the DRS. But that's not the fight we want to watch. It's the fight here. There's 4 cars involved, and they nose to tail. Gaggles spins around. RJ loses it with the Mercedes. The 4 of them really in a deep war here. It's absolutely amazing these guys are not out yet. The fight for the front has calmed down a bit. The 2 drivers on your screen, the McLaren and the Haas, fighting each other here greatly. And there's another spin. It's Ryan Armstrong who's hit the wall in the final corner. As we see the first car into the pit lane, it's Lando trying to take the gamble, trying to make it work, trying to see if he can monopolize off of any issues that may come people's way in the coming time, because as they appear to be racing, we could have a DNF very shortly. Anyway, we see Lewis here fighting with Jack. Are these two going to be able to make their way through this section cleanly? The car behind the Haas with the DRS. Is he going to swoop around the outside? He's going to try to. Is he through? It's going to be tight. Yes, he is. A reminiscent of the season 1, round 1. Red versus Forgotten. Red getting the overtake. And there's a dive from Lewis. Locks it. And the Haas is through. What a fight that was. So the 2 Aston Martins lead from the 2 Haas's. What a beautiful sight to see. Order like that. Then we've got a McLaren followed by the Thermite Ferrari car, who decides to come into the pit lane. That could be pivotal. And he gets a speeding penalty. So he's going to fall to the rear of the grid. He comes out, I think, yeah, on a new set of hards. Gaggles is in as well. So everyone in the low pack is coming in for a set of hards. So I think the switchover point could be now if tire degs are high. Thermite is saying 1 mile per hour. That must be how much he was done by. So everyone in the pit lane changing their front wings here, those who have been in major contact. The Alpine in for an extraordinarily long time. I think that was just a visual error though. But to the fight here, everyone is relatively spread out compared to what they were a few laps ago. But we could see a fight form at the front end of the field for the final 2 points paying positions. Or we could see a fight start to form between the 4 fastest cars in the race, maybe even the top 5 fastest cars in the race. At the moment, again, the 2 Astons lead. There's a big moment there from Lewis, who continues on, starting with the McLaren. We may see him move to Mercedes in the future. That would be something to see. Wins a championship here, then wins 5 spontaneously. That would be quite cool. Anyway, we see it here. The fight towards the run 10 starting as there's a spin from Joe. Who's been disqualified for driving backwards. That is completely his fault for trying to enter the pit lane while spun.
I get back, and that's what I see.
He spun and then tried to drive into the pit lane, and has DNF'd himself.
I mean, as we see Polius go into the gravel. I think to let James pass.
That could be crucial. James is, I believe, on the hard, so this could be into This is team tactics.
I will note they're doing this entirely by themselves. I'm not imposing anything on them.
They could be speaking externally without you. Obek versus Thermiter versus RJ. Sorry, another move done before the chicane. Hats off to Joe for becoming the first driver to be disqualified in a race this season. Not via
race 1 before the halfway point.
Yeah, fastest ever disqualification from a season. Amazing. Let's continue.
I bet you're very proud of it.
Yeah. Oh, slightly wide moment there as Obek comes into the pit lane. But James Quinn leading the way. He's not been able to win a race so far in ALR. The most amount of wins we've seen a driver able to get at all, the absolute most, came from a few of the drivers racing here today. Let me get up the Formula Game Companion because I may have forgotten. So as we know, the most amount of points was got by Tame Superjazz, scoring a whopping 222. Tame also with 4 wins, but then the rest of the field, Gaggles, Polius and Kev all with 2 wins, and then Joe and Thermiter with 1. So on the field right now we've got 4 former race winners and quite a few podium sitters. Gaggles, Polius, Thermiter, James, Joe, RJ, all on the podium in this race. Pretty much half the field have had a podium at some point in their career in ALR. And are we going to see another addition to that in the form of Jack? Which would be nice. Mr. Ghost. The race has started to die down a bit. It's got into its calm stage of existing, which is right before a giant pit cycle happens in the top group normally. We do see, though, the 2 Aston Martins still leading the way by quite a substantial margin from the nearest cars, albeit those around them have decided to pit for the hard, so I think the mediums could have been the wrong starting tyre. If it is...
Obek onto the softs.
Oh, yeah. So Obek, we could see him come out and try... I think he's trying to pray for a safety car at this point in time. We could see Polius in at some point shortly. If we do, then that could be something to see. Not coming in just yet. So this could be a game of whoever pits first gets the race win. And we see a slight moment there from James. The man who almost won in Belgium was beaten by the smallest margin in a long time. Smallest gap.
The
ever in the league.
that first corner can be that first and second chicane can be real killers if you're not careful.
Yeah. I mean, we saw a couple moments last year when we raced here, but there's two cars at the end of the field who are very close. From what it appears, the Mercedes of whatever his name is, I've forgotten, Lando, and Obeck, Mr. Beckett, both fighting here to try and get in place, and they both lose the rear through the same corner. Haha, not seen that in a while. Especially in this game. Anyway, we continue on.
The handling on this game feels pretty nice.
They've changed it multiple times, and everyone thinks it's relatively okay to race with. One of those is Thermiter, so hopefully we should see anything better from here. They both mess up the turn 1-2 chicane. I think these two are just trying to keep each other behind, but they're pushing on the cars ahead. My goodness. My goodness. This could be a very good opening race for ALR. Gaggle was 22 seconds off RJ, so we could see him try.
There was a real spread out. We're only 11 laps in. Yeah, I think part of that is just down to the extra pit stops some people had to do, as well as the collisions.
Well, we see it here. The two Aston Martins leading a dominant race as Obeck goes massively wide, almost into the wall. That could have been grounds for a retirement if he had hit the wall, because it's such a high-speed section there. And he's lost the rear again, so Lando's going to get through on him. It's going to be tight. These two will fight with each other to try and get P9.
Lewis nearly lost the rear coming out of 1, 2, 3, 4. I think corner 5.
There's a yellow flag out for the sister Haas, who must have had a moment behind the race leaders, as we see a spin. There's contact.
No.
Lando spins into the wall on the inside of turn 1 after, I think, contact with Obeck. It could have just been wheel to side pod. No fingers pointed to blame. Lando here letting the faster cars through. He knows it's not his place to race. Bit of a
on the track.
Position to stop, but hey ho.
Yeah, I think I would have gone around. I would have slowed down, but I would have kept going. I wouldn't have just stopped there
on the curb. But anyway, we digress. We continue. The two Aston Martins still with a huge lead on the field after the sister Haas made a huge mistake.
Whoa! As Exact Max? Is there a shorter name?
Lando.
Oh, just Lando. Okay. Lando goes through the gravel, smacks the wall, ping pongs off, hits another wall. I'm surprised.
Alex Albon. Yellow's out in the third sector. I think it's for the Alpine. Pit's been going quite slow, so we're machine the Alpines at the moment, and Beckett's into the pit lane again. So decided to come off the soft tyre. Could we see Polius coming in soon? Yes, we do. The moment I say we could see him in soon, he's in the pit lane.
That yellow flag in Sector 3 was caused by Lando slowing down by going onto the gravel.
It's onto the hards for the Aston driver. Blue flags again.
He's into the pit. I don't think Lando's going to be catching up anytime soon.
Yeah, he's pitted. I didn't realise. I thought he was still going.
He's on the softs.
We do see it here, though. Polius comes in, and that triggers pit stops for the cars behind. Thermite are currently up in third. Still carrying that 10-second penalty.
Crucial for Polius to get some heat into these tyres.
Oh, definitely. Now we just wait for James Quinn to come into the pit lane. He is on the hards. He started on the hards. I'm not sure how long they can go into this race, but I'm sure he knows he has to make a final pit stop.
I think he'll probably try and pit in another couple laps and do the final stint on the mediums.
Wow.
That is my guess. I am, as I said, I'm not. I don't know the strategy they're going for. Funnily enough, despite them being my race drivers.
Then again, they could be trying to do as long a run as they can and then put onto a set of softs at the very end. Yellow flag out for Gaggles, who's backwards at turn 4. With an end plate missing. Not quite sure what has happened. But the Aston Martin driver, James Quinn, is getting on his tail, so he will have to move out the way, which he adheres to very nicely. Quinn does have to pit, so don't count him out of the race just yet. RJ comes into the pit lane. So he's going to drop down 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 positions in this race. A pivotal and crucial moment for the race. Welcome to the new members who've decided to come and watch the stream. We do value your time, I assure you. As we're
time and patience.
Oh yeah, as we're roughly at the halfway point of the race, and Lando has found his way backwards at the section you see on your screens, which is just where it is. It's left me, turn 6 and 7, that's the one. We see the cars in the mid-pack, though, having a fight with each other as Polius sets the fastest lap. So these hards for him have really turned on, so I think we'll see him start to set very competitive times. And if we do get a safety car for whatever reason, I'm sure that could give a free pit stop to Mr. Quinn, who is leading. Depends where it comes out, though, because it could give everyone else a free pit stop and then he'd suffer.
Yeah, I mean...
As I think that was a Mercedes there of Ryan going wide through the final chicane. He's being
there's a little bit of a slide from James there going through six.
And we've got a fight between Obeck and Gaggles at the end of the field. I've just tuned into this. Obeck tries to get through. They are so close to each other, and they nudge each other. The virtual safety car's out.
Safety car as James goes into the pits.
There's a reason. The Mercedes has lost its front wing. So the Mercedes car has lost its front wing. It's not a full safety car because no one's retired, but we could see a retirement here shortly. If these two keep fighting as hard as they're fighting. Quinn just gets out ahead of his teammate. That could be crucial. The Aston Martins could fight each other because, again, I don't think we're in the space for team orders. As Gaggles runs into the wall. Gaggles has just lost a big chunk of his front wing.
Yeah, and almost like precognitious. Yeah, like he knew this was going to happen. James has pitted on the mediums, which has actually saved him quite a good chunk of time.
DRS is back. The race is underway. I have a feeling we'll see Gaggles in the pit shortly. He's letting Obeck through. So yeah, I think
James
that is a sign.
James got a very good pit stop from that.
He also got a very good restart from that. The Mercedes
he's flying.
Yeah, the Mercedes that caused the VSC is now in the pit lane. As Dottie's crashed, and it's a full safety car! Gaggles being saved by the bell from being lapped.
That is unfortunate for the two Astons up front.
No, Quinn is in again. He's in again. They're both in. Aston Martin double stack. What is going on today?
They might be pitting onto more hards.
We'll ride on board with Quinn in the pit lane. He's onto a new set of mediums. Polius is also onto mediums. Everyone onto the mediums.
I mean, there's little reason for them not to pit.
Please try to let Gaggles through if you can.
Remember, no side by side.
Everyone, I think, is coming to the pit lane here. Gaggles serving his penalty. Yeah, Quinn, if you can, let Gaggles through. He is lapped. He should be able to unlap. Nope. Okay. That's his race over.
What do you mean?
The game should.
Oh well, Obek. Right setup next time.
Okay, that's the reason he's doing quote-unquote terribly. He's chosen the wrong setup. He's okay. We have a reason for the DNF. The driver was too fast and too wide. Feel bad for Gaggles being lapped. He shouldn't be. Maybe we need to let everyone get to the safety car and then he can unlap. That could be... Because we have quite a few cars who are lapped. Or Quinn comes into the pit lane. I don't think he wants to do that.
I mean, I absolutely do believe, because obviously they're not going to have anywhere near as much wear on these tires.
Oh, not so.
When they come out of the safety car, and I mean we're likely to be in the safety car for another lap, 2 laps. Least. Yeah. So I mean, consider that we're going to be only going about 9-10 laps on the mediums.
Oh yeah.
So, I fully believe that pitting onto the fresher mediums was absolutely the right choice, which is why everyone's done that.
Again, I feel bad for Gaggles being lapped. He's now crowded out completely for the rest of the race, pretty much. He's now going to get overtaken by every single person behind him. Quinn almost runs into the back of the safety car. So... a race to forget for some, but a great race for others, so...
Joe just DSQing.
That is what I was referring to, but you know.
Yeah, no, I know, I'm just... like that, I'm confirming that I'm on the same wavelength.
Yeah, okay. Chill.
I am!
Apparently Thermiter has too high rear PSI.
Oh god, his tires, they're going to explode.
I should know I'm a qualified mechanic now. That's changed since the last stream. I got my official qualifications.
Hell yeah.
Never try to get your tires to 100 PSI, you will explode with the tires.
the tires will turn into Middle Easterns.
No, the tires will literally just blow up on you because you filled them too much.
Oh yeah, I know.
There's a surprising amount of people that don't. Everyone is here now, so the safety car is in.
I know, because, like, tires are basically just big balloons.
Yes. Anyway, the safety car's over. We're going to get running again here in ALR. Hopefully there won't be any more interruptions, but I don't know. It's ALR. And Gaggles rubs the back of Quinn up ahead. It's a very slow restart. He's not going yet. Gaggles, of course, a lapped car. And he's gone. So Gaggles will be overtaken near immediately here due to the fact it's a safety car. We could see some jostling for positions in the mid-pack. We do. Obek trying to get ahead. In fact, I think Obek will get ahead. He's on the inside of the lapped cars. Lewis trying to fight Mr. Beckett here. Not able to get through. Although he might have a shot on his teammate. They almost come to grief, all three of them. For me, the safety car graphic is stuck on screen. I assure you.
Yeah, I was about to say, they're clearly racing, but the safety car graphic is still up. I will say the two Bastings fired off into the distance on the restart.
We see Obeck in the middle of P5 and the cars behind trying to fight each other. Don't think that will come to fruition. Gaggles really in the mix of things. I don't think he wants to give places back from where he is due to the fact he is lapped. As we see RJ off, not into the wall, but he's off the track. As Obeck gets overtaken by Lewis.
Does Gaggles manage to be a minute and a half behind?
Because he's lapped and he wasn't able to unlap, and we don't know why we can't unlap.
I see.
DRS is back enabled, so we'll see it here in the next part of the lap. We could see an overtake here from Becker. We could see an overtake here from the Aston Martins. Polius trying to get ahead of his teammate as we have 10 to go in this race. We continue this near train towards the DRS zone. Will Polius be able to get through? I'm sure we'll be able to see on the timing tell, but this is the fight we want to be watching. The two Hasses and a McLaren all in a sandwich together. Thermite are not too far up the road. Obeck is probably going to try and make the move on his teammate. There is near contact between the front-running Haas and the McLaren. He gets through. They are very, very close together. The three cars, the Haas that started off at the front of this pack in fourth, now down to sixth. So,
Dick?
Yes.
You mean? You mean six?
Yeah, six.
Yeah, you said sick. You said sick.
Okay, did I? I'm tired, bro. Leave me be. And we see
It's
the Mercedes
been a long
yet again.
week. It's only Sunday.
It has. We see the Mercedes yet again in the wall, missing an end plate. I'm guaranteed that's his race pretty much over.
That's sad. We're not going to be able to use your iconic catchphrase anymore because the race date will have moved.
Oh, well.
It's just going to be a long week.
Short week. But it's only Sunday. Yep, the Mercedes retires from the race in the pit lane, does it properly.
Thank God.
As I believe Obeck has spun.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
he has!
Obeck was like literally in the middle of the race.
As Quinn
middle of the road, then
by
nearly
his
took out
teammate,
RJ.
and Thermite gets ahead of Gaggles. The Aston Martin.
I'm not kidding. Obeck nearly took out RJ.
I tabbed onto it just as there's near contact. That was close.
If Obeck had turned in the other direction,
oh yeah,
it would have hit.
That would have been 2 DNFs right there. We got just over 8 laps to go of the race. Just under now, 8 laps to go. So, the two Aston Martins are still fighting. Yellow flag out again for Obeck, who has found himself backwards.
Yeah, it's because Obeck's setup is screwed.
And the Aston Martins are fighting. Dives down the inside, goes
Quinn. That could have been back if contact had been made there.
Oh, that
could have been bad, and I would be very unhappy.
How do you think I feel about Joe? Anyway, we continue the fight. It continues. Down the S's we go. Quinn, I think, has the inside line, and they are going to trade positions.
I think James is going to overtake Pillsbury here. Polius, I
mean. He has. I think that was a safe bet. Obeck comes into the pit lane for a new set of tyres. And this is the fight we want to see. Lewis going to get taken by Jack. Into the chicane we go. Jack has to cut to the two ahead have to cut to avoid contact. My bad. That was the wrong fight I was watching. Clearly. It's been a short week, but it feels long, man. It's the new quote. Anyway, we continue with the race. The two Aston Martins are still very close together, but the closer fight for now is this McLaren and this Haas. Gaggles, blue flags, please, bud.
Remember to let them pass.
Especially when there's a fight which could affect P3. And it has affected P3. Gaggles has held up long enough to get his teammate into the fight. His teammate does the inside. There is nearly contact. between the Haas and the McLaren.
Should we look at that, because he did affect the fight there?
Not greatly. He's just pulled Thermiter into it. I don't see anything wrong with it. Yellow flag out for Oleg in the final corner as Killspree gets
I know. That's why I'm asking your opinion, because it is technically still blocking.
Anyway, we continue with the fight. It's going to go into the chicane. Side by side they go, and it's a clean move.
There was lucky there was no contact.
They're very lucky. Thermiter could be at risk again. There's 4 cars all fighting for the same real estate here. He defends very well, near contact, but just has to give it up.
I mean, you give it up or you crash, really.
Ah, Thermiter loses the rear.
Out.
Whoa!
And he nearly takes out Gaggles.
I think that's going to be a clip moment right there for a perfectly cut streams compilation.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, the fight continues. The Haas currently without DRS.
Watch as Thermitus end spins out again and he ends up taking out Gaggles.
Gaggles is ghosted. We have ghosted AI here. No, ghosted lap.
Oh, Gaggles is AI?
No, ghosted cars for the lap.
Oh, okay.
The fight is still happening up at the front. Quinn is going to try again to get ahead of Polius here.
Oh, yeah, when did Polius re-overtake James?
At the very start of this lap.
I didn't notice. I was focusing on Thermiter and
ever so
Gaggles.
slightly wide there from Mr. Quinn. Really risking the rear. So does Polius for that matter. So these two really are trying not to kill each other, but are at risk of killing each other. The Haas and the McLaren and the Ferrari are still trying to fight. I think the Ferrari's just had to drop back a bit. He could be waiting for these two to make a mistake. RJ's had a moment. He's backwards at the 90-degree right-hander. He should get back underway very, very shortly. The good thing about this is if there is contact, then Thermiter has a free podium. The McLaren dives to the inside. Runs wide, there's contact!
Whoa, there's contact around the first corner.
He's through. This gives Thermiter a chance to try dive down the inside of the Haas, which he does. Gets the move done, he forces him off. I think there was a bit of good measure there, but they're all still in the race. Thermiter spins into the wall. He's just messed his race up there.
Has he lost part of his front wing?
Yes, he has. He's missing an end plate. Missing both end plates for that matter.
That's unfortunate. I think with the end plates though is he'll just have to stay out and just try and
just
take
end
the
plates.
fifth.
But we're about to get.
Yeah, he'll just
hit,
like. There's no point in hitting it this point in the race.
The two McLarens are now together, but the two Aston Martins are even closer. Obeck loses the rear and goes into the wall. He's somehow still in the race, but that was a hefty impact. The two Aston Martins again fighting each other. Quinn just staying behind for now.
James, I know you can hear me. Please don't crash into Polius.
Team orders coming in clutch right there. Papaya rules.
I'm not saying don't. I'm not saying you can't overtake him. I'm just saying please don't crash into him.
There you go. Papaya rules. Thermiter gets a time penalty for the end of the race. Thermiter's race is over. Unless something absolutely crazy happens, his race is over. 4 laps to go. The Aston Martins are still fighting each other.
Unfortunate for Thermiter.
Oh, definitely.
But, you know, he's still ahead of Gaggles.
That is true. By quite a substantial margin.
Bro is allergic to the color blue.
Take a moment here just to let this all sink in, man. This is too much. We continue. Oh no! The Haas has spun. The Haas contending with the McLaren for the podium place. Either contact or a spin has put him back, further back than he would have hoped for.
I guess that means Lewis Lewis has a real chance of taking third place then.
He does.
There's James and Polius. We're side by side, and then James backs off going into the chicane.
The two McLarens having a bit of fighting argy-bargy. There's another yellow out for, I think, Beckett. Yes, it is. Two Astons still fighting.
Going down into the chicane. Ooh, as James manages to pull off the overtake very cleanly and has the DRS.
We could see.
Which notably, Polius does not have.
Oh yeah. Oh, and he's wide!
Ooh!
As Gaggles gets a 10-second penalty for, I think, impeding. That
ignoring the blue flag.
Yeah, there you go.
Caution in sector 3. I believe the Haas has gone around again.
FGC will be updated in due time when I have everything set up properly. One of the McLarens is round. It's Gaggles. 2 to go here in this thrilling race. Gaggles is stopped on track. I think he's trying to get a safety car, but that is not going to work because the top two are on the last laps. The Haas is in of Ghost, Mr. Jack. Are we going to see a last lap overtake possibly from these two? We're going to go into the final lap in about a second's time.
Yeah. James, if you can't get it cleanly, don't go for it.
James
like if it don't
is heavily aggressive to try to get his first win as Obeck is round in the final corners.
There will be other races. Don't throw it away just for the chance, please.
Obeck letting the two faster cars through, like the very nice driver he is today. Here's James's real last chance. The 4 DRS zones around the lap. Here's one of them. I think he's going to try double for an overtake into the second one. Here we go through the second. These two they've been fighting since the start.
There's really not been any equal for the two Astons this race.
I think it's because everyone kept getting in silly incidents because it's the first race of the season, you know.
Yeah, meanwhile the two Astons are out. The two Astons are out ahead, just racing their heart now.
Right on board with James here. Sitting just above his head. He's going to get the DRS here. I think he's got the overspeed. He could try to get the overtake done. Yellow flag out for Obeck. James trying to get down the inside. He just gets blocked off. They're defending like hell from each other.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful defense.
James gets the purple sector.
He was faster.
He
but
is.
Polius just had that ironclad
James is going to dive to the inside. He almost takes his teammate out. That could have been crucial. Is it going to be? Is it going to be Polius? Is it going to be James? James has the inside line for the final corner. They touch. They spin each other out.
They've stopped on track.
They've fully stopped on track. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Polius tries to force him into the pit lane entry. It's going to be a 1-2 regardless. To the line. Polius wins again. Polius claims his second victory in Australia and becomes the only driver to win 2 races in 2 different seasons. Lewis is going to come across the line in third after that very dramatic final corner. He's going to pick up a podium on his debut. We're going to see RJ as well coming across the line to claim his P4 position, which for him could mean quite a substantial start to a championship charge. Next across the line, we're going to see Thermiter, the man who's had a wavy race. He has a 10-second penalty. It may not stand. Gaggles gets a penalty as well, having an unserved penalty. Is it going to be Thermiter here? There's a 12-second gap. Could that 12-second gap close up at all? I think Thermiter's going to stay 5th. What a thrilling end to a Grand Prix that was. Wow. I need to take a moment because I've not had a drink that entire race.
That was
Quinn
impressive.
Gets the driver of the day. Don't forget, he started last and finished second, which in of itself
are we doing
is something. I think we'll just go into the game automatically. So the first 1-2 for a team on debut ever. McLaren get their first podium.
1-2.
Look at that. 2 DNFs, 1 DSQ. Obeck finished 2 laps down. The competition was 20 seconds behind.
Patience.
And that was quite a thrilling race. Obeck ended up making 8 pit stops that race.
and the bonus star for pit stops goes to Obeck.
That's it from me. That's it from the crew of